Hi, this is Julie. I'm here today to show you how to make a pop-up place card using Make the Cut. I have one here that I made for our visiting grandchildren. They really enjoy seeing their names cut out, and they each wanted one, so we made one. This is the cutting file and Make the Cut that I use. So what I'd like to do is show you how to do this type of card very easily and Make the Cut. So we'll start with a new page, and first we'll go find the rose. I found the rose in the MTC gallery, which is this icon at the top of the screen that looks like a tic-tac-toe. If you click on that and you go to the search window and type in rose, I typed in descending and search, you'll find that there are 97 rose files posted here. The one that I liked was this one on page 6 because it's a stencil rose that will work well for this type of design. So I click on download underneath the thumbnail and close the gallery by clicking on the X. Now if I click on this rose, nothing happens. It's not selected. That means that the whole page is locked. To unlock the page, go down to the lower right corner and click on the gold lock icon and select Unlock All. Now you can select all or parts of the design. What I'm going to do is select just the red part here, click on the red and go to Edit, Copy, and maybe add a new page. So no, I'll go back to my rose page here that I was on, and I'll go to Edit, Paste in Place. Paste in Place will paste the exact same size and exact same position as you copied it from. Well, it's obviously a little bit too big for a project. It's 8 inches wide. So with the lock icon on, I think I will make this about 3 inches wide. So I'll type 3 and press Enter. And then I'm going to add the card that I'm going to use with this by clicking on the Import Basic Shapes icon, which is the triangle, circle, and square on the top toolbar. Double click on the square. I type in SQ for find, and then it'll find the square. Let's see if I got it. Double click. Here we go. With that selected, I'm going to put it on its own layer by clicking on the 2 green plus icons at the bottom of the page. And I think I'll turn this to a pink. We'll make a pink card. I'm going to make the card 4 inches by 4 inches with the gold lock icon on at the top. I'm going to type in 4 and press Enter, and that'll give me a 4 by 4 card, which I'm going to center on my page here. You'll notice that the straight selection arrows are at the centers of each side, so by watching those arrows being centered on the lines, I can make sure that I have a pretty good alignment. I'm going to type 4 and 3 to zoom in on that selection just to make sure that I have, and I'll go to the green mat so that it's transparent. Back off a little bit, so I can see that this is right centered, right, this plus in the middle of the square is centered right on the line. That'll be helpful when I'm making my score lines. Now I'm going to make my score lines. I'll click on the larger of the 2 plus icons at the lower right corner to add a new layer, and this will be for my score lines. And I'll also click on 1 inch snapping. That way I don't have to be accurate when I draw. The lines will actually snap right to the 1 inch lines. To draw a line, if you don't see those icons on the left side of your screen, in the upper left corner there's a figure 8. Click on that and it'll open the node editing toolbar here. And I'm going to use the fourth icon down, the Bezier draw tool, and draw in a score line from left and right click. So I just left clicked on one side and right clicked on the other. Now I'm going to click on the selection arrow at the top of that toolbar and select my rows and turn off snapping because I no longer need that. What I want to do is select this rows and click on the fourth icon from the right on the bottom toolbar to create a shadow layer. Now I want the shadow width to be 0.15 inches with the corner join rounded, and I'll select accept. You can make your lines thicker if you want, but this is how I turn a simple stencil into an outline shape. Now that I have both selected, I'm going to click on the join icon, which is the 9th icon from the left on the bottom toolbar, and they're joined now to create this really nice flower design. Now I'm going to bring it over here and center its little plus sign right on the center of that square. And I see that, that's a little bit too big because I don't have room for the name there. So I'm going to just draw this corner arrow up a little bit and drag it back so that if you ever run into this problem that you just saw me have, I'm going to do Control Z. The reason when I click over here trying to select the rows but I get the square instead is over here on the right you see the layers. There's the squares on top of the rows. So to change that I just click on the arrow for the rows to send it up above the square, and now I can select the rows and drag it to the center where I wanted to drag it. I also want that square to be in the center. I can select both and type S to stack them perfectly, which is what I want. And then if I zoom in again 4 and 3, I want to make sure that these two are on the grid line. So I'm using my arrow key just to move the designs right to the middle of my mat so that when I draw my score lines they will be straight. I've already got a score line on there, which is, as you can see, also right in the middle because I selected everything to put it all in the middle. But I don't want the score line to go through the rows. What I want to do is have that score line go just to the very edge of the rows. Now with that selected, I'm going to do a copy and a paste in place, and now I'm going to hold the control key and use my right arrow to move that copy over to the other side. So now I have a line there and a line there, and I'm going to send them both to the same layer. So I'm going to click on the box on the layer toolbar, hold a shift, and I'm going to also click on the thumbnail of the other one and click on selection to new layer so both of those lines go to the same layer. I can get rid of these empty layers by clicking on the trash can. To make these solid lines dashed, I click on the color icon, click on line style, create new style, and then you can adjust the length of the dash and also the amount of spacing in between. I like to give it a little more spacing than the default and click OK. Now I've got my card, my score lines, and the rows, but now I need to make the cut to make the rows stand up on the card. So I'm going to hide the dashed line, and I'm going to hide the card, and I'm going to go to outline mode so that I can see those lines. And again, I'm going to type 4 and 3 to zoom in really close on this design. For this next step, I'm going to click on the second arrow on the left toolbar. This is the node editing tool. I'm going to just click on the outside line, actually just hovering over it. And I'm going to double click right where that line crosses the center 6-inch mark on the mat. So double click. What that does is it divides and click on it. I'll try that again. You click on it first, then double click right on the line where you want to divide that line, or you want to break it. And when you can click away, then select it, you know that you've done it. With the bottom portion of that selected, I'm going to click on the delete key and delete that little segment in there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Click on the line, double click where I want to divide it. That adds a node. Now when I select just the bottom section, and you want to select a little piece below this 6-inch mark on the mat. Now I have a break here and a break here, but when I go to the selection arrow up here and select it, it's still all selected. So that means that I need to click on the split icon down here. That's the 5th from the left, and that breaks the pieces apart so that I can select just the bottom portion. And I don't want this middle piece selected here. Since it is selected, I'm going to click on break so that I should be able to select just the outside line, which I have now as shown in the red. I'm going to click on delete, and now I've got all the pieces that I need to do this project. I have this line right here, which I'll break it to, let's see. So this line right here, I'm going to send to its own layer and hide it. You hide it by clicking on the eyeball icon there. It hides it so you no longer see that line. We've already hidden the score lines. Now I want to show the card by clicking on its eyeball, and we'll go to fill outline so you can see this, and I'll back out a little bit. But what we're going to do is select all. You can do that by clicking on this left arrow at the bottom toolbar. That selects everything, and click on the join icon. And now we have a card with a floral cutout, or the stencil cutout, and if we show the top half of the slice there, and we show the score lines and get rid of the empty layers, we now have a project that is ready to add any text or names that you would like to add here. You might want to write them by hand, or you might want to make the names so that they'll cut out. You can see the design better if you go to contrast matte, and you can see that this has taken the color of the rows. You can change the color of the card to any color you want, and when you fold it on this line, the top half of this design will stay standing up. So you fold this back, and now you have a pop-up place card for your occasion. Well, I'm going to select all and move it over a little bit so that I can add a name to it. To add text, we go to Text and Fonts and click on the T on the right. I've chosen Grand Hotel for the font. I think this is really a cute script font here. And I have the name typed in here, and I usually keep split by glyphs showing in this option. You can do no splitting, split by lines, split by spaces, but I split by glyphs or individual letters and accept. I see that the L is a little bit separated, and I like to cut them all in one piece without them falling apart. So I just move it over a little bit with the arrow key and click on the weld icon at the bottom of Toolbar, and then I can move it right over here. It's on its own layer already, so it's ready to go. Now if I want to keep my layers from moving around, I can select the icon thumbnail for the card and hold shift and select a thumbnail for the cut line for the pop-up and join. That'll put them on the same layer, and the names on the other layer. So that now I have 3 layers. I have the score lines here, I have the cut lines here, and then I have the name right here, and the name could be any color you want. So that's really all there is to it. Now if you have some soft, you can cut this on any Make the Cut supported cutters. For example, Cougar, eCraft, Gazelle, Click and Cut, Pazel's Inspiration, Silhouette, Click and Cut, other machines also that I haven't listed here. If you don't have one of those machines, you want to cut it on another, you select all and go to File, Export, Selection to SVG file, and give it a name. I call this Rose Pop-Up Card. Put my initials on it because I made it, and that reminds me that it is mine. And I'll make it number 1 because I've already saved it once. I cut this on my Pazel's view, and we don't have a plug-in and Make the Cut for the view yet, so I can open up my view software and cut it directly from the view software after I import this design. So here's a picture of it again. This one was Lauren's, and this is her sister Leia's card. I made mine a little bit taller, a little bit bigger, just for little ones to handle. But you have the idea now. I'd love to see the designs you come up with. You could use any stencil of any shape or design to do a similar project. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Bye.